Hello, my name is Johan Rooryck, and I'm the Executive Director of cOAlition S. And I am here today to speak about Diamond Open Access and the various initiatives that we have taken in Europe and elsewhere to bring this forward. So, my talk is called Diamond Open Access, the Road Ahead. And that's in a double sense, I believe. Um, in the double sense of in the sense that I believe that Diamond Open Access is the road ahead for scholarly communication, and also what is the road ahead for Diamond Open Access, because of course that's a question that preoccupies most of us now. Um, First of all, what is Diamond Open Access? Well, Diamond Open Access journals and platforms are journals and platforms that do not charge fees to authors and readers. So by design, this is a mode of scholarly communication that is equitable by nature and by design. So it's been championed by Relica Melica and by Cielo in Latin America, but and it is also, of course, been pushed by the UNESCO Declaration on Open Science of a few years back. But Diamond Open Access is, I believe, more than just no fees for user or a business model. It's at heart a governance model for scholarly publishing, where content-related elements, journal and platform titles, papers review decisions, and so on, are controlled and owned by the scholarly communities. And service-related aspects of publishing can, of course, be contracted with service providers on a competitive and time-limited basis. I believe, and those of us who are in Diamond Open Access believe that this offers possibilities for a new public-private compact for scholarly publishing, where not all of the means, all of the elements of scholarly publishing are in the hands of commercial publishers, but where there is a trade-off between the scholarly community on the one hand and their needs and the commercial services that are being offered to us for sharing that knowledge. Um, Let me start with the Diamond Open Access journal study, which was published a few years ago. This was something that was commissioned by Science Europe and by cOAlition S. A study came out in 2001 showing that the Diamond Open Access is really a fragmented archipelago of about 30,000 journals, probably more than that. 11,000 of which nevertheless have the quality stamp of approval of the Directory of Open Access Journals. So that means something. It means that they are good, even if they're fragmented and distributed all over the world. These are good, bona fide journals with proper processes. They serve small, multilingual, and diverse communities, and publish about 44% of all articles in full open access journals. So small, perhaps, and unorganized, perhaps, but still a force to be reckoned with. One of the recommendations there was to build a Diamond Capacity Hub to align, coordinate, and improve sustainability of Diamond Open Access. And if we look at Diamond Open Access worldwide, we see a lot of good practices at the regional level, as I said already, Cielo and Relica America, but also Indonesia, your neighbor. There is a Relawan Journal, which has 20,000 journals in its scope, 2,000 of which are in DOAJ since 2018. There's also African Journals Online with 600 journals. And at the national level in Europe, Open Edition, FECIT, Finland, and Croatia are making good progress in organizing their journals at the national level. Same is true to a lesser extent in North America, where in Quebec and in California, we again have centers that group a number of Diamond Open Access together. And these are good practices that I believe we should build on. To organize Diamond Open Access, we decided we are the ANR, the French Agency for Research, Coalition as Opéras in Science Europe, decided to call on the Diamond Action Plan to align and develop common resources for the entire Diamond ecosystem, including journals and platforms. And this is then been taken, 150 organizations signed up for it. And this plan was then taken forward by the Diamas project and the Craftway project, which have been funded by the Horizon Europe scheme for diamond journals in the era. And those projects are now well underway. To give you an idea of the Diamas project, that was a project that looked at non-technical, is looking at non-technical aspect of aligned and high-quality sustainable journals to make sure that all of the diamond journals in Europe are aligned in terms of quality and in terms of visibility We want to create a community supporting services and to help institutional publishers to adopt these common standards, and the common standard that we will then develop in terms of what we call an XIP and the self-assessment tool that will allow journals to see where they stand in terms of that alignment. This was a project This is a project that's running over 36 months, and that involves a large number of big scholarly organizations from European countries, as you can see on the slide. We believe on the basis of the experience from that project, we believe, in fact, that the Diamond Open Access infrastructure needs to be developed more fully, not only in Europe, but also beyond. This was also supported now politically in Europe by the EU Council conclusions, which state quite clearly that authors should not have to pay fees and that non-profit scholarly publishing models should be supported. This has now accelerated the momentum to build this common infrastructure for diamond publishing, and we believe that it should not be limited to Europe, but should be international and long-term sustainable, integrating existing services and also allowing to develop new diamond initiatives. It should be a distributed infrastructure, so it's not like a common infrastructure that you find in one space, like the telescope in Chile, for instance, or the Large Hadron Collider. No, this is more like a distributed infrastructure over the entire world, a bit more like an electricity grid, like on the picture on the left of the page. Where a European capacity hub, for instance, at least in Europe, linked to a set of national and regional capacity centers delivering services to those journals. And this European capacity hub would itself be a regional capacity hub among many others worldwide. This is what has led Pierre Mounier and myself to develop the following model at the first Diamond Summit in Toluca, Mexico, at the end of October of last year, showing that in fact what we need is a globally federated infrastructure that includes 4 levels, namely the largest level, which is the communities, which everything is based on, the communities, the diamond journals, the diamond books and outputs. These are then serviced by a number of national or local or disciplinary capacity centers that I will come back to in a minute. These are then themselves organized at the regional level in diamond capacity hubs. So that's basically the idea of national levels in Europe and the European level. The same in North America, you would have a North American level and you would have a Quebec level and the scholarship level in California. This is basically the model also that Alika, Melika, and Cielo are based on. And then finally, you would have a global level, the Diamond Federation, which would look at coordinating all this on the global level. So this is the vision that we presented there, and I can discuss this in a bit more detail. So journals would then be concerned with editorial and scientific works, soliciting reviews, making decisions. They would, of course, also apply international quality standards and guidelines. How do you deal with reviewers? What are aspects of equity, diversity, and inclusion? But they would also ensure ownership over content and the community-driven governance of the journal. They would continue the editorial team and board. What would they not be doing? Well, what they would not be doing is everything that the Diamond Capacity Centers would be doing. Namely, Diamond Capacity Centers would help with tools, administration, platforms, copy editing, typesetting, all the practical administrative things and technical things that I don't think editors want to be concerned with, namely guidelines, best practices, and trainings. These capacity centers should help journals align with quality standards and guidelines. And this is also where multilingualism can be easily taken care of, namely publication in the national languages can be taken care of, can also take care of the fact that abstracts could be in English, for instance, to make these journals more accessible to researchers who do not speak the national language, and so forth. Regional capacity hubs then would be ensure alignment of these diamond capacity centers. The hubs would provide alignment of the centers. They would pool resources, coordinate services, standards, and practices, and ensure complementarity and subsidiarity of these CCs in order to make sure that there is no overlap or doubling of services. So create efficiencies, streamline things, also exchange specialists across the regions. And finally, the Diamond Federation which has been now adopted by UNESCO. UNESCO will host the secretariat for this Diamond Federation because, of course, the Diamond Open Access Publishing is very much in line with the declaration that of UNESCO about open science. They will host the secretariat of the Global Diamond Federation that is nascent. We will develop it in the next few months. It will be announced very soon. That Global Diamond Federation will explore technological interoperability of platforms, adopting common technical standards, explore exchanges of services and financial complementarity. So you could easily imagine certain services being delivered by, for instance, the Latin American hub for European diamond journals. Those are the kind of complementarities that we can think of. Mutual learning, of course, between hubs and priorities for global expansion of Diamond Open Access, because Diamond Open Access, of course, is currently not yet available in every discipline. We intend to cover all disciplines with Diamond Open Access. So looking forward, we believe that Diamond Open Access allows researchers to take back control of scholarly content, that it ensures equity by not charging fees to authors and readers. And we also believe that a well-organized global distributed infrastructure for Diamond Open Access publishing based on best practices can realize this goal. I will stop sharing now.